On today's show, Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks take down the Utah Jazz. This team continues to win games in many, many different ways. How many problems can Luka Doncic and this team solve? We'll break down that game, and we'll talk about why Luka Doncic and Spencer Dinwiddie continues to impress and why they can take the Mavs far in the playoffs. We'll talk about that and more coming up on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, and contributor at Mavs.com. The Baguette Biombo, the One More Thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I just want to say right off the top, I'm so disappointed in the Mavs bench. Just for their harsh words.
Uncalled for what they did.
For the Mavs bench.
No place in the game.
To talk like they did to Rudy Gobert. Like who trash talks from the bench? Like
who does
nobody
that?
does that. And just for them to hurt Rudy's feelings and just I'm kind of just shocked right now. I'm so disappointed in the Mavs bench.
Dallas Mavericks get the win against the Utah Jazz 111-103. Luka Doncic, man. This guy, we're going to talk about him and talk about how he just continues to solve more problems for the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie, how he is stepping up into this role, an incredible stopgap or incredible like replacement player that the Mavericks. What do you call him?
Addition,
yeah. Stopgap. It's like he's going to leave soon. An incredible addition that the Mavericks like
he's
just
not Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It just fell into their lap. This Spencer Dinwiddie acquisition that's been way better than I think even us who were really high on the trade, that even us were not as high as what Spencer Dinwiddie has given them.
Somebody texted me today and said, a buddy of mine, and said the Mavericks look like they pulled a rabbit out of a hat with a
goatee
with the Dinwiddie trade and just because it's went that well.
Do you know who was high on the Dinwiddie trade and said the Mavs would be better after the trade?
I don't know.
You said this. You said they would be better, and I kept pushing back, saying, I don't know. I think the defense may suffer. And guess what? The Mavericks have been better since the trade, and we've almost pounded it into the dirt. If you listen to this podcast daily, you know that we've pounded this into the dirt. The Mavs are playing really well right now, and we've talked about the implications of the trade and all that. We're not here to do that today. But Luka continues just to solve more problems. Luka in this game, 35 points, 16 boards, a season high. And early in the game, he was going to his mid-range. Okay, well, if Rudy Gobert is going to switch onto you, and you can't really drive on Rudy Gobert, give him credit for what he's good at. He's good around the rim. And so you're like, all right, I'm just going to take the mid-range stuff. And Luka took the mid-range stuff, and he hit a bunch of shots. He hit 6 mid-range shots in this game. That's 12 of his 35 points. That is big for the Mavs, for Luka to solve that problem like that. And it really worked in this one.
Luka loves the Rudy Gobert matchup. Okay, so he's not worried about this. I mean, even in the fourth quarter there, he does the step back three, like right in his mug, and
I think for a lot of Mavs fans, especially the ones in the building tonight, that was cathartic. Like that was just everyone just needed that after that game. This game got real chippy. There was the halftime thing. We'll talk about that. There's all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, we were hyping up this game because it had a lot on it. You know, any Mavs fan, any of the pregame, production stuff, everything is hyping up this game because there's not too many regular season games at this point that you're like, oh, this has a lot on the line. Like every game from here on out, you're like, hey, you need this win to stay where you're at, maybe try to move up in the standings. But when you have a team directly above you in the standings that you could get the win and give them a loss, like that's huge. Now, just to get this out of the way, we clarified this before we hit record. The whole like season series thing really doesn't even matter at this point. It's not like, hey, you can win the fourth game and then it's a 2-2, season, you tie it, and then who's winning the tiebreaker?
With the Jazz.
Yeah, with the Jazz. Utah is going to win that tiebreaker because it goes to the winner, whatever team is the winner of their division. Utah is going to finish above Denver, and they have a pretty safe lead on that division. So, and then Dallas is
It's a game and a half,
you. Well, okay, I guess Denver could
right?
catch
Like
them.
that's not. The Mavs are only they're 3.5 back from the Grizzlies right now. That's more of a safe lead to me, I think.
Yeah, so
But
Dallas would have to pass Memphis, and then Denver would have to pass Utah for
but if
them to
that's
win the
happening, then the Mavs are hopefully hopefully past the Jazz anyway. It wouldn't be tied with them.
Yeah, so that's just for if they just a tiebreaker. If they finish with the exact same record at the end of the year, well, now it's a if they can win that fourth game. So I mean, it's just the if game. Either way, it's still a massive matchup because you just handed Utah a loss, and now you're just a half game back from them. Like that's wild to think about where the Mavs are. That they're a half game back from the 4 seed.
Let's just take 1 minute to think about when the Mavs were 16 and 18. They were 12th in the West, and it was just looking like everything was bad and nothing good was ever gonna happen ever again. And now the Mavs are where they are. 15 games over 500.
Yeah, I think Mark Folwell said tonight that that's the first time they've been 15 games over 500 since 2016, 2018.
Man, it's been a while. They have a better record so far than they did last year.
It's been a while.
It has been a while for the Mavs, but Luka, I thought in this game, he took it to him early. He was like, I'm gonna set the tone early in this game.
Like this is a playoff game. He approached it like a playoff game.
100%.
16 points the first quarter is like, all right, now we know what you're doing.
And he did it on both ends. He played defense really hard tonight, I thought, in this game. He finished with 3 steals and a block. And he mentioned after the game, he said that's the biggest area of improvement for me has been defense, or the biggest area of focus, or something like that. He said after the game is on the defensive end. You just can't take advantage of Luka, right? Like Donovan Mitchell can't just, square up Luka and cross him over and hit shots over him and that. Like you just can't do that against Luka. You can't attack him in that way, which is what has made the Mavs defense so good. Like they don't have a weakness if you have players like that. You put out Luka, Dinwiddie, Dorian, Reggie Bullock, and then Maxey, and the weakness is like, okay, get to the rim, and then at the rim, you have to try and figure it out there. But you can't just hunt somebody in that lineup because they're all between 6'6" and 6'10". That's a crazy lineup right there, and they're all switchable.
Even Dwight, I thought played good defense. I mean, Quinn Snyder shouted him out after the game, and he mentioned him specifically, saying, "Hey, I thought Dwight Powell played good defense, on switches and onto our smaller guys." So, I mean, when you can do that, that's one of the only things about Brunson that is, not the biggest positive in the world for him is if he's on the floor, he's going to be the target, no matter like in a playoff series, whoever it is, they're going to target him. So tonight, it's like who are you going to really target? Like Dwight, I guess, but he's switching off. So that was a luxury for the Mavs tonight.
And the Mavs defense is so locked in and so together that they're rotating enough to where if somebody does get switched, you can throw a double real quick and they can, recover back to your man because everybody's just locked into their spot. You don't have somebody James Hardening back behind you trying, just looking off into space. And I think the defense is what really kept them in this game. I mean, you look at some of the runs and the swings and stuff. The Mavs got to a 20-point lead and they kept the lead the whole rest of the game. It started to get a little dicey there towards the end. It never became a clutch game though, which is positive. And the Mavs held that lead. And I think it was because of their defense.
I almost wish it did become a clutch game, so then we can improve our clutch record even more. But no, I mean, Luka was just in his bag. They put him in there in the fourth. They started to play around with it in the fourth, where I'm like, are they really gonna blow this lead and let Utah get back into this game? I thought Mitchell late in the game was great playmaking and hitting the guys in the corners. I mean, he was getting to the rim and then kicking it out. We'll talk more about Dorian probably later on the pod about his defense on Mitchell. Shout out to Tim McMahon, just taking on the full. Hey, I'm going to make the push for Dorian Finney-Smith to be on an all-defensive team. I mean, he pointed out Dorian's defense about Sabonis the other day on Twitter. Even tonight, classic tweets like after, keeping Sabonis to 0 points in the fourth, Dorian Finney-Smith guards Donovan Mitchell tonight. It's like, man, I love you, Tim. Keep on being the spokesperson for Dorian to be on an all-defensive team. Dorian Finney-Smith's playing the best basketball of his career right now. And I mean, he hit 4 threes tonight, 40%. He's over 50% from three over his last, gosh, I want to say 7 games. Incredible basketball from him right now.
Mavs role players are really stepping up, and Luka Doncic is leading the way, but the role players are stepping in and playing their part, and everything is working right now on all cylinders. So coming up, let's get into a couple more things about Luka, and then let's talk about those role players. Let's talk about how Spencer Dinwiddie has made such a big impact so far, so early, how he's fit so well, and Dorian Finney-Smith. We'll get into his game. An incredible, incredible game for him. How important is he going into the playoffs, and what does he allow the Mavs to do? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Bet Online. Bet Online is the fastest way to check out the latest odds, totals, player performance, and props, all that stuff. Check it out on Bet Online. You can even see the odds for games in the future. Ooh, March Madness coming up. March Madness. You're going to want to check out Bet Online for all the March Madness stuff. There's so many college basketball games all the time. How do you keep track of who is the favorite, who, Vegas thinks is going to be the one to win that matchup? Go check it out. So go check out the spread and then see how you should make your brackets. Go see that. All kinds of different games. Apparently Fresno is a 12.5 point favorite over San Jose State. Oh man, that's an upset.
Wow,
upset
that's a big
special.
number.
That's a big number. Upset special right there. My college basketball knowledge is really coming out here. As I scroll through these, none of the teams stick out to me.
Oh, give me another one. I'll tell you what to pick.
Pittsburgh, 2-point underdog at home against Boston College.
Give me that all day, every day.
I mean, if you're feeling that one, that is a 1 p.m. game on Tuesday. If you want to check out some college basketball, BetOnline has it all for you. Head to the website or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Isaac Harris. So we've been talking about Luka and how he's solving problems, how he took this matchup very seriously. There's a couple of crazy things that happened in this game. At the end of the first half, Luka Doncic drives in, gets a foul, and the ball, falls into Rudy Gobert's hands. And then Rudy Gobert throws it back to Luka and kind of just tosses it. He didn't chuck it at his head or anything like that. I'll give him a little credit. He just tossed it to Luka. But then obviously he said something. He said something to Luka, and Luka spins around, looks at him, and gets all mad and starts yelling at him. And Spencer Dinwiddie does the hold me back, like the Jalen Rose, hold me back. And he holds him back. And Spencer Dinwiddie holds him back all the way back into the locker room, all the way into the tunnel and all the way back through the tunnel and probably around the arena and back into the locker room. He holds him back. And I feel like that was the crescendo of or at least the rising action of Luka versus Gobert tonight. And then Luka hit him with the 3-pointer in the fourth quarter, and that was sort of like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and we had the flop.
The flop. But, end of the third quarter, Luka Doncic is standing behind Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, his leg kind of kicks back a little bit and hits Luka, and then Luka, I mean the door-to-door, kitchen knife set salesman that he is. Just
sources tell me that the Mavs Academy might be nominating this.
The Oscars are coming, but the Mavs Academy Awards is what Luka's going for right now. Man, insane.
I will say Rudy Gobert definitely made contact on purpose with him. It was contact.
Yeah, there was contact, but it wasn't enough for Luka to fall down and flail he did. No,
Luka definitely tried to sell it. He wanted to get the second tech on Rudy. Yeah. And now I'll push back a little bit on what Rudy did at the end of the half, tossing the ball back to somebody, no matter if it's a rocket or not. That's a little disrespectful. Okay, you're going to toss the ball. Luka missed the shot. Rudy's going to get the ball and then toss it back to Luka. It's just kind of get out of here. So I was all for that. Go after him.
I was okay with that. And Luka seemed like he was okay too. He just kind of caught the ball and was looking at the ref and calling for a, foul. He was, whatever Rudy said to him was obviously something that irked Luka.
I just with Rudy, he's such a polarizing player.
No, he's not.
Among fans.
No, he's not polarizing because everyone knows how they feel about him, right? There's no other polls. There Utah Jazz fans.
Andy Bailey loves this guy.
Is a Utah Jazz fan. Is Andy Bailey not a Utah Jazz fan?
John Hollinger I mean, he's not a Jazz fan, and this dude puts him like number 2 on his MVP ballot. For
It's
like 3
fine.
years,
That's
like.
different. That's
I feel like there are some Rudy Gobert. Like, I think there's a difference between fans and players. I tweeted this out during the game. Like, he has to be the player with the lowest approval rating among other players, right?
I mean,
like,
LeBron doesn't even use him in 2K when he plays.
like, they don't want to draft him in the All-Star draft. He's the punching bag for Draymond. I mean, Draymond hates this guy.
Don't put him in the same sentence as Draymond Green.
But like, you never hear players like kind of just totally disrespect guys like that and like don't give a crap. And then you see how Luka feels about him tonight. Like, I mean, Donovan Mitchell doesn't even like him.
Let me tell you, I was close to the Jazz, close to the Jazz bench. And I didn't see a lot of people coming to Rudy Gobert's like defense, coming to like talk to him or like pat him on the butt or do anything like that. It's pretty icy in that huddle, at least from what I could see. Maybe they are at the end of like this 5 games in 8 days stretch. Long road trip for them. I think I was talking to David Locke, host of Locked on Jazz, and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen my wife in like a week and a half or something like that because they've been on this long road trip." But
it's
the point still stands that Rudy Gobert is not a well-liked player at all, right? After the game, when guys are all hugging and dapping up and just talking to each other, Rudy Gobert starts walking across the court. He walks through all the Mavs, and the only daps he gets are from Brunson, who was just kind of like we accidentally made eye contact. Let me just give you a 5, and then Boban gave him the full hug from Boban because Boban loves everyone.
But it's like when there's difference to stuff on the court, and then when you open your mouth and say stuff too, and it's like, all right, dude, like I want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt as a fan of like, all right, players obviously don't like you, but I'm like, do I have a big reason to like not like you?
Right.
And then after the game, he's complaining about that breaking news, the first of the pod was all sarcasm from me. Like he's complaining about the Mavs bench, like talking to him during the game. And it's like, really, bro? Like, you really going to complain about no matter what they said to you, you're going to bring that up to the media that the opposing team's bench was talking to you and that how some of it was inappropriate. I'm like, wow, we've never heard anything inappropriate said on the basketball court before. And he's like contemplating. He's like, yeah, do I take up for myself or do I, stay on the, it's like, okay.
Like, listen, man, Theo Pinson's just yelling at you. Okay. It's fine. Theo Pinson, Moses Wright, Marquise Chris, like Tim Hardaway Jr.
Who's yelling at him?
Oh, I was sitting there. I had my binoculars out and I was looking at it, and it was Pinson. It was Tim Hardaway Jr. It was Chris. And
Tim's my guess.
And they were just all yelling at him from the bench, right? Just like saying stuff. And Rudy Gobert turned around and like looked at the bench and was like, "Oh yeah, come on, come out here." He was like, "Come out here." I think that's what I could read if my lip reading is up to 100%.
Underrated option, Jared Dudley.
Oh, that'd be the best. That would be my favorite. That'd be the best option. I could take you then, and I could take you now, Jared Dudley. But let me tell you, Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber, I think when they wake up in the morning and they know the Jazz game is that night, I think they go, F, like, because Rudy Gobert is big and he throws those guys around. I mean, those guys just fall to the floor and get hit and get, there's all kinds of just contact when the refs aren't looking, and there's all kinds of, it's very physical to play against Rudy Gobert. I think they just like would hate it. I feel like they would just hate it every time they have to play him. Is Josh Green a better center than Dwight Powell?
He's doing well. My son's doing well.
That's my semi-hot take of, is Josh Green a better 5 than Dwight?
I mean, not as a 5, but if you're saying play Josh Green as a 5 guy, he can drive. The drives and kicks from Josh Green were incredible in this game.
The drives and kicks, his energy, I swear he rebounds just as good as Dwight. Like what?
Dwight had 4 rebounds in 21 and a half minutes, and Green had 3 rebounds in 18 minutes. So
I wrote this down about Josh Green. I'm like, I don't know what he is, but he's fun. And I don't know what his like some people have thrown out Andre Iguodala.
Yes.
Like Iguodala was more advanced at this stage when he was in Philly back in early days. Like Iguodala is like I mean, look at some of Iguodala's like scoring numbers back in the early days for him. Like he could get buckets. Like Josh Green's not getting buckets. He's more of
Iguodala was playing 37 minutes a game his second year. And,
yes,
and scoring 12 points a game. So
you think they're the same player?
I think that if you're going to try to compare the style of player that Josh Green is, I think it's Iguodala. I don't think he's the same level of player. Like, is he going to make an all-star team one year? Is he going to be
I was going to say, I think
a weird finals MVP? Like, no, I don't think so. But I think the style of player where it's a guy that can't really shoot, but can get to the rim because he's really athletic, can stay in front of you on defense. You know, he's about 6'5" or so. Pretty good passer. Iguodala's always had really good passing numbers. He's like that type of player, style of player. Is he that level? Yeah. No, probably not. But but he's been good, right? Like to your point about is he better than Dwight? Like he has been a positive for this Mavs team, and he played 18 minutes in this game that felt like a playoff game.
Oh, he had some big play. He had that play where he just ripped Gobert, came down the floor, went up underneath the goal, kicked it to Bertans in the corner. Bertans hits it. It's like what a back-to-back plays by him.
That was a 2 from Bertans, by the way. I did not think that was a 2.
Oh, that's dumb. But yeah, I don't know what his comp is. Like I'm not fully there with the Iguodala stuff. I like Iguodala's just, I like some other things where Iguodala's at, but I don't know. I just don't, he's hard to pinpoint. I feel like there's a lot of players in the league. It's like, oh, I know who you are. I know the style you are. I know a guy that's like kind of in the similar group as you. And for Josh, it's like, dude, you're so athletic. You really struggle with your outside shot. You are a really good passer, but you're not going to break somebody off the dribble. But like I don't think he's that great of a defender, but he's just going to like be energetic. And it's such a weird thing, but it's working. And that's my whole point about it. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's working. And that he's like the adrenaline shot. It's like, hey, just like stab yourself, inject it. And it's like, all right, go for, 10 minutes there in a game. And
we were talking about how this team and the 2011 team, like they have some similar, like you can compare a couple things. And the one that I felt really strongly about, first of all, is that Boban is Brian Cardinal. Boban is the custodian, right? Like, and then the second one is that Josh Green is Corey Brewer. Remember Corey Brewer just like run around, and he would be that energy type guy. So I think that, like, yeah, he is that type of guy that, he's the energy shot in the arm and fast, right? He's gonna play fast, and that's something the Mavs need. Like, how many fast breaks did Josh Green get on in this game? 3 or 4.
Gosh, I don't know.
Doesn't happen to the Mavs very often.
I'm so intrigued with what he is next year. I've thought about that more than what I should.
I can tell you just brought it up like out of nowhere.
I don't know what he is, and I'm so confused.
Coming up, let's talk about Spencer Dinwiddie, why he's so important to the Mavericks, and why it's just been incredible to have him, and then a couple more things. And I don't know, are you and I we're making a purchase in like a couple months here. Luka Doncic signature shoes coming out. We'll talk about that and more coming up on today's Locked On Mavs.
It's like Summer League.
All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into this game. Let's keep talking about a couple other things. There's just so many random things. So this is going to be our game notes section. Spencer Dinwiddie, 23 points, 3 boards, only 2 assists in this one. 7 of 15 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. 5 of 9. And man, he had 23, Dorian had 21. But man, if Dinwiddie's points just didn't all feel really big, right? They all just felt like, we need a bucket right now. The Mavs are looking around saying, all right, somebody create offense for us. And Dinwiddie's just going to pull up and hit a 3 and stop the Jazz momentum. And they just all felt really big. And it's just been so good to have somebody like that, especially somebody that's 6'6", but somebody like that can either stop the bleeding or can, give the Mavs a jolt in the arm on offense when they need one.
And somebody that's available to play. And somebody that's like, oh, when Brunson goes down, or it's like the moment that you see that Brunson's not going to play in this game, you're not saying, well, crap.
Well, now, Trey Burke better get ready.
I was going to say
he didn't have to play Trey didn't play any minutes in this game.
Trey Burke time, baby. But no, it's like they have this other option in Dinwiddie. And that's why we're going to go down the whole thing again about adding that third guy and, them two together. I love seeing them, them two play off each other. Dinwiddie and Luka.
Dinwiddie and Brunson too. We saw over the weekend that Kings game we talked about is that we've now seen Dinwiddie and Brunson play really well together, and Dinwiddie and Luka play really well together. And obviously we've seen Luka and Brunson play well together this year. Like those 3 guys being able to mesh in all those different configurations has been awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, you said it. He went 5 or 9 from 3 tonight. That's a little 50% for him from 3, and he's 41% from 3 since he joined the Mavs, which is crazy just to look at his shooting numbers. I mean, you just look at his points since playing for the Mavs. He suited up for the Mavs for 8 games. They're 7-1 since Dinwiddie started playing for the Mavs. Like, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. But 7-1 since Dinwiddie started playing. In those 8 games, he scored over 20 points in 4 of those games. He scored double digits in 6 of those 8 games. Like, this is really good stretch of basketball for Dinwiddie.
With wins against the Heat, the Jazz, the Warriors, the Lakers, and the Warriors again. And almost the Jazz. The Jazz loss was only by 5 last time they played. I mean, those are
That's
some
the only loss they've had since he's been on the team.
Was that Jazz loss by 5 points at the end there. But yeah, wins against the Heat, the Warriors twice, the Jazz, and then the Lakers.
Yeah. Big time basketball for him. I'm excited for him, man. And Luka seems like he really likes him too. And it's so odd seeing another perimeter player with Luka being able to get a bucket. It's like we're not. And can we be honest for a second? And this ain't going to be popular with Slovenian fans, but like, he's better than what Dragic would have been. And
yeah, that's true.
And we wanted Dragic on this team. Dragic, I'm sure, like, I would love him on this team, even with Dinwiddie. But like the whole, okay, Dragic would have played this role, like he would have been fine. But I don't think he would have been what Dinwiddie's giving the Mavs right now. And
I don't think we thought Dinwiddie was going to be what he's bringing the Mavs right now. But it's been incredible. Dorian, we got to talk about him. 21 points, five boards, 4 of them on the offensive rebound, because
Dorian Finney-Smith is a great offensive rebounder.
Absolutely. 2 assists, a steal, and yeah, he's making that push for an all defensive team. He's just been incredible, and
he hounded Mitchell tonight.
Him and Reggie Bullock, I thought, worked their asses off in this game. They worked so hard just going around screens. There's obviously the Gobert screens, but there's all the off-ball stuff that happens too, where it's like Bojan will set a screen, or somebody else like Rudy Gay will set a screen, or one of the other guys, O'Neal will set an off-ball screen, and you just have to try and run around these screens and fight over them or slip under them real fast. And Reggie Bullock was like, he just looked gassed in the 4th quarter because he was trying so hard to play defense. And this whole team is trying hard on defense, which is incredible for this team.
Yeah, I thought Josh Green played good defense on Mike Conley. There were multiple possessions that kind of made a little mental note. I was like, oh, that's good defense. And Conley was really one
of 7. He didn't do anything in this game, real.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can brag. I mean, Maxey, one of my favorite things that ever happens is this ongoing thing to where a wing player or a backcourt player gets the switch on Maxey and they like back up, and it's like, oh, I got the mismatch, you know? And it's like, oh, you don't even know this is not a mismatch for you. And like Jordan Clarkson did that late in the game. He got a bullcrap foul on Maxey. It wasn't even a foul, but he got the call anyway. But it's Maxey being able to switch, stay in front of players, be quick in his feet. Yeah. Fun defense. I mean, what did Utah finish tonight? How many points? Oh, they had
103.
But they barely cracked that 103 mark.
Barely cracked 100 points, which is big. This Utah team is the number one offense in the NBA. To hold that team to 103 is big. I don't care if it's on the second night of a back-to-back and how many games they've played in the last couple of days or so. That's big for the Mavs to hold them to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and
they shot 38% from 3, the Jazz did. So it wasn't like they just had really good 3-point luck. It was the Mavs actually playing really good defense.
And the Mavericks were missing their second best player in Jalen Brunson. So
yeah, I
know the whole excuse for Utah side. It's like, all right, well, we were missing just our second best player. But
couple of random things, and then we'll couple of random things. Luka passed Jay Vincent for top 10 in scoring in Mavs all-time history.
In the words of Jason Kidd, already?
He did already passed him. That is incredible for Luka that he has already passed.
Or I don't know. Keep
going. The other thing is that Luka's signature shoe is coming out in June. Isaac, thoughts on Luka's signature shoe?
Yeah, super excited about this. I think Sneaker News tweeted out a few things that they had heard news-wise. Jordan Brand had their official announcement on Monday about it, and yeah, late June we'll get that first one. Get some different colorways. I'm excited for it. I haven't heard anything about the details of what kind of shoe it's going to be.
Eddie Sefko asked Luka after the game. He's like, "Will it be a defense first shoe?" And Luka said no. So we do know that information about that shoe.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification.
I'm gonna go on a limb. He has been wearing the crap out of that Zoom Separate, and it's more of a lower top type of shoe. I would go on a limb and say it's more something along that route, but I honestly have no clue. I'm really excited for it. Obviously, I've got his shoes so far, some of his PEs, so I'll definitely try to get some of those ones at some. I'm really curious to see what the fan reaction will be for it. How the sellout stuff. I mean, we saw with some of the Cosmics, we saw it with his latest PE, just kind of the fan. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them sold out and just trying to get their hands on them and stuff. So it feels like it's going to be a popular shoe. I mean, he's accomplished more. If you just want to do the whole Zion thing, we've did it before, but Zion was guaranteed that signature shoe, and it's like cool. We've seen him for 12 minutes, and Luka's actually accomplished stuff now. So we'll see what those sales look like.
And maybe
I'm bummed at actually no. They'll come out at the end of June. I wonder when Luka debut though.
He comes out for a summer league run or something.
No, he could debut him earlier. I mean, game 1 finals.
Oh, he debuts them before they're even up for sale.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Interesting.
We've seen players do that. So,
by the way, Reggie Bullock just tweeted sleeping on that guy in Dallas when Bleacher Report tweeted out a "Who's the MVP" graphic with Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic on it. Bullock said sleeping on that guy in Dallas. Hashtag Luka Doncic.
Did he really? No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
That's hilarious. I mean, I don't want to. Obviously, I want to lead this Luka campaign, but what Jokic is doing right now is unbelievable. And the only thing with Jokic though is is this guy going to win it, being 6th in the West? Are we going to have one of those situations again? We'll have the MVP comp. We have days to talk about it.
We got days to talk about it, but yeah, for now,
if Dallas finishes 3rd and Denver is 6th, we'll lead that charge, because that's enough difference in the standings.
And let's just do the standings real quick. The Mavs are real close right there. All of a sudden, the Mavs are only two and a half game? No, just 3 games out of 3rd, 3.5 games out of 2nd. That is not insurmountable, that difference right there, because the Grizzlies lost to the Rockets, the Warriors lost to the Nuggets, the Jazz obviously lost to the Mavs, and the Mavs have won their last couple of games here. And so if this trend continues here, then all of a sudden this Mavs team could find themselves in 2nd place in a couple weeks.
I don't even know if I want that. Are we sure we want that?
Do you want the pressure? Do you want
the Lakers in the first? I mean, I know the Lakers suck, but it's do you want that chance at LeBron and AD in the first round? Do you want the Clippers in the first round?
It'd be the Timberwolves or the Clippers, right? The Lakers are 5 games back from the Clippers right now for 8th. So I don't think they're catching them.
I just don't want Denver. That's all I don't want. Just anybody else except for Denver.
Well, if you're 2, then you skip Denver and you get either Minnesota or the Clippers. Again, the Clippers again.
Oh my God.
That's a good place to end it. The Mavs may get the Clippers.
Give us Utah, guys. Give us Utah. I want Utah.
That's what they have right now. They just have to get home court advantage against them, because I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen a playoff game in Utah, but they're special.
They might like Luka.
He's doing well. My son's doing well.
There you go. Guys, we will be back tomorrow with more on Locked On Mavs. Thanks for making it your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On NBA. Go check out all the best stuff from covering every single game. I will be on there on Thursday. And
go listen to Peter.
Go listen to Peter Bukowski on Locked On Today. I was on Locked On Today as well. That covers all the sports across all of the sports that we cover on Locked On, and has all the local experts on there. Go check out Locked On Today and Locked On NBA. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
So
Boom.